official Ancient Kitchen video. I'm sure you all who are already subscribed and been watching the videos have seen that I've done mostly shorts and lives, but this is our first official video. Today we have been making a special recipe for our family, for my grandmother, from this Mediterranean cookbook. My grandfather picked out a braised oxtail dish with some baked rice, so you'll be seeing us make that today. And I'm making a variation of it using eggplants and king trumpet mushrooms. They'll be having the oxtail version, and we'll just be having, my son and I will be having the plant-based version. But this whole meal is supposed to be lower in sodium and a twist on something that we usually eat, oxtail and rice. So stay tuned for the rest of the video and get inspired. All right, first things first is we've already cleaned the oxtail. We're starting off with that dish version. And here you're watching my grandmother and I season the oxtail. As I stated before, this is intentionally a low sodium version of a traditional family dish that we have, oxtail and rice. So I'm showing her she needs to break that wrist with these seasonings because they have no sodium. So the first one we used was Mrs. Dash garlic and herb. I'll be showing that later in the video. And then the next seasoning she's using is garlic infused with dry parsley and then onion powder. And then you'll see me sprinkle some pepper in there as well. Something slightly different that we added as an herb, added for this recipe was a dried chili pepper. So then I'm showing her how to measure salt so that she can be in control with the amount of salt she's using and place it in the palm of her hand instead of just twisting it and not knowing how much she's using. Traditionally, oxtail uses browning seasoning, which has MSG, a lot of just unhealthy ingredients, and salt-infused crushed tomato, canned crushed tomato, and a salt-infused broth, sometimes ketchup. So all of that is high in sodium. So we are utilizing whole foods. You see her slicing the onion here for additional aromatics and flavor. That is going to be the base of our gravy or stock, if you will. And she's getting it finely diced for the oxtail to get added flavor later. And then we're chopping up a bunch of carrots. So we chopped up about one onion and 3 carrots, but you don't need that many carrots. We realized we had too much. And sauteed that with some oil and garlic. And as you saw before, we put the oxtail in the oven to begin to braise. Another layer of seasoning that we're doing is green seasoning. Some people call it green seasoning. Some people call it sazon. What it is just a way to add more herbs. It is parsley, celery. I believe we had green onion, green pepper, ginger, garlic, cilantro. And then we just blended that up in the food processor and then put that on top of the braised oxtail. My grandmother had some already, so that was nice and seasoned for the oxtail. And just another view, look how gorgeous that is. And then we added low sodium chicken broth with some crushed tomatoes with no salt. So you see the similarities, we're just reducing the salt, but still not reducing the flavor. And then you're going to cook that for about 4 hours until the oxtail is tender. And here are the final results. Everyone said that this was delicious as well. So for the plant-based version, I am using eggplants. As I stated before, I'm slicing them laterally to help them to just break down in that shape instead of having circular chunks. Eggplant's a great meat replacement. It's nice and meaty, and it takes on the flavor of pretty much anything. You just want to salt it prior to cooking it because it helps release the bitterness. And once I've done that, I place it on a baking sheet with a bunch of olive oil. This helps it to not be so stiff and chewy. It breaks down those fibers and makes it luxurious. And I place it in the oven at about 400 degrees. Moving on next to the trumpet mushrooms. This is true meatiness when you want to replace meat. I am scoring it just to give it that feel of a meat replacement. It also helps with the cooking as well. I like the look, and it helps with the final end result. It makes it look like you're having a piece of seafood. So we got oil in the pan, olive oil, and then next I am seasoning up. This is where I'm going to show you the actual seasonings, some of the seasoning. So it is Mrs. Dash table seasoning, not the garlic and herb that we use. So this is the same seasoning that we use for the oxtail. This is a method that I like to use to press down on the mushrooms. It helps release the liquid and makes them even more meatier. So when you bite it, it won't be chewy and too liquidy. It will mimic meat. This is how a lot of people get steaks to look, mushrooms to look like steaks. This is what you want the eggplants to look like. I transfer them to the saute pan with the trumpet mushrooms to cook them down even more, to blend in with that sauce, to blend in with the seasonings. I didn't cook it for too long because it's really not necessary. This is more so for them to get acquainted and just melt well together. And I also wanted to blend or add the green seasoning to our dish as well for that added flavor, that herby flavor. So you cook that down for a few minutes and you should end up with a result like this. I probably put 1 or 2 more spoonsful of the green seasoning as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is the end result. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel and the Chosen Lot channel. Thank you so much for your support.